What it's all about.
The next tone is 700 Hz at operating level. All subsequent tones should be referenced to this signal.
Welcome, Bubba Army. I know I suck. I know this channel sucks, but there's some good stuff going on in this fat head of mine. And I'm kind of taking a break. I've kind of taken a break from doing some of these pontifications, and I don't know what's working. I'm trying to throw a whole bunch of shit to the wall to see, you know, what I can do here and what I can get people interested in. Obviously, I'm not doing that great of a job, but whatever. The main thing, I've got Bubba to notice me. He's talked about me. He's played bits about me. I've actually been a couple bits on his show, and that's all I want to do is contribute a little bit. And like I said, I am in no way trying to be a star. I'm nobody. I just feel like Bubba Army. Like, that's it. So I feel like I'm strong Bubba Army. I don't know. Maybe I don't get the Bubba Army. Maybe I shouldn't be labeled as Bubba Army, because a lot of these other Bubba Army guys, I don't know. It's all about infighting and being assholes to each other. And, you know, I don't want to be an asshole to anybody. I don't want to fight with anybody. I just want to talk about things that I think are important. And one of these things that I wanted to talk about today is the whole jamming, FM, AM, signal jamming thing that Bubba says is going on. And I think it's completely possible. I've researched this. Oh, it's definitely possible. FM signals can be jammed. And anyone can search this. There's like two main ways of jamming FM signals. One of them is like the most notable way, and that's someone else putting a jammer on the same frequency that the other person is on, and playing music or audio or tones, bagpipe tones, all kinds of different sound tones. And this can definitely, you know, hinder it can definitely hinder the audio performance of the original broadcaster. So that's not what's happening, because I don't think people are hearing other stations bleeding through, either on the old station WBRN 98.7 or the new station WWBA 820 AM. But the lighter form of someone, you know, jamming a signal is you don't hear anything. They're just, you know, they get something that's close to the tower or wherever the signal is being transmitted from, and they just kind of put it they can put it over there. It could be in a van, it could be, you know, it's not that big, that hard of a thing to do. And basically they just, you know, the other person on the other end, you know, with your radio, has a harder time hearing the guys. So before Bubba went on vacation back at the very end of June, right before the July 4th break, he said he was being jammed. And you know, I think that's quite possible. Now, did WBRN, his old station, get the signal upgrade he was talking about, and that's why, you know, they're hearing the station a little farther away? That could be. But I mean, these guys here waited for years and years to do anything. Then they had, you know, the best radio personality ever in Tampa Bay history, and they didn't upgrade the signal. Okay, so then they're going to upgrade it for an oldie station. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's bogus. I think it's bunk. But basically, you know, Bubba and Manson talked about, you know, when you're listen, and I'm sure other people could vouch for this. When you're listening to a station and it's your station, you listen all the time. So Bubba would be driving out on the expressway, and he would notice where the signal would start to cut off, and so did Manson. And I believe Manson. Manson's a straight up guy, and they both vouch and both say that ever since they're off the air, that the signal is traveling farther by like 15 to 20 miles further. So that's fucked up. That's messed up. I shouldn't even say the F word, but it is. Okay? That these guys, like Bubba's proclaimed, there's just a few companies that run the Tampa Bay market, and Cox and iHeart being one of them. And look at all the trouble Cox has gone through to try to eliminate Bubba. Okay? Between the sex tape scandal, which is messed up alone, because it's not just like Cowhead was working alone and Spice Boy was working alone. They went to the managers of the actual radio stations, or people who were in charge, knew that this was going on. And they were doing all this stuff, all the emailing and trolling and all this other stuff on Twitter and emails or whatever from station computers. What a bunch of morons. Everything is tracked these days. So I can't wait till all that comes out. But that's a whole nother story altogether. But if they were willing to do all this and spend money on billboards for Cowhead and all this other stuff, then why wouldn't they not go through, why wouldn't they not spend 20 grand on some vehicle, or not even buy some pickup piece of shit vehicle and equip it with this jamming device? Totally possible. I was looking here, of course, on the dumb internet, and yeah, it says, subtle jamming is jamming during which no sound is heard on the receiving equipment. The radio does not receive incoming signals, yet everything seems superficially normal to the operator. These are often technical attacks on modern equipment, such as squelch capture. Thanks to the FM capture effect, frequency modulated broadcasts may be jammed, unnoticed by a simple unmodulated carrier. The receiver locks onto the large carrier signal and hence will ignore the FM signal with information. So when Bubba, like he's at the station the other day, right before he talked about this affair gate, and he says he checks what's going on, he checks the signal, he checks to make sure they're on, and of course the day he's gonna do the affair gate talk and talk about all that good stuff, which is a whole nother subject altogether, but he goes and in between breaks he puts on the radio and there's nothing. He can't pick up the signal. Okay? Now if these guys are monitoring and everything else, of course, how hard would it be? It's probably the flick of a switch to turn it on and off, whatever they're doing and whatever they're jamming. So, hey, the proof could be in the pudding, and I would believe Bubba. Everything that he's been talking about has come true. With Spice Boy, with Cowhead, with all of this stuff, with, I don't think he's a liar. So, hey, my bad if this all comes out and Bubba's a big dick, but I don't think so. I think there's some truth to all of this. And, hey, the truth will set you free, Mr. Todd Clem, and I think it will. And, you're going to be vindicated when this is all said and done. And maybe somebody needs to get in their vehicle, and when this shit's going on, maybe somebody needs to go over by the tower or go, head out over that way and see if there's any suspicious vehicles sitting around or something. I don't know. But anyhow, I'm almost at my 10-minute mark. I know this is too long, whatever, but it needed to be said. Bubba being jammed? Bubba, Army, have a great afternoon. Have a great day. I'm sorry all you Tampa market people are having to deal with this bullshit. It's horse shit. Have a great day.